I cannot believe we are already in the last month of 2025. We are out here. It is winter arc season. We are building, we are leaning out. We've got some very specific strategies you'll want to follow if you want to get the abs, get the glutes. I mean, who says we can't have both? So, I want to share with you 5 things you'll want to be actively doing in your strategy to lean out and build that booty come 2026. Number one on the list, I just can't ignore. And I feel like we see this so much everywhere online now. It's protein everything. But I feel like no one's being super specific about, well, how much protein should I eat for my body goals depending on where I'm at? Of course, we've heard aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight minimally. And depending on what your target weight is, you'll want to set it there. But percentage wise, there's another factor. So, yes, stay in your calorie deficit. What I want you to shoot for as well is that 40% target. So, take your total calorie deficit and set your protein at 40%. And the rest you can split between your carbs and fats however you like. Science is really telling us it doesn't matter if you have more carbs or less carbs, more fats, less carbs, split evenly. As long as you are in your calorie deficit, you're keeping it high protein. You're going to win. So, before I move on to number 2, if you want more specifics on how much protein you should really be eating, check out my video here. I go into a lot more detail. Now, number 2 on my list, we are going to be talking gym strategy too, because we're building this winter arc. I want you to go into the gym using your compound lifts. I'm talking squats, deadlifts, hip thrusts, specifically for our lower body, but we want a full, well rounded upper body, full body as well. So you want to add in your overhead presses and your barbell rows. And there are different variations that you can use specifically for your lower body. And I mean, for all of them really, to get that progressive overload momentum. Hip thrusts, for example, you can do a paused rep, you can do half reps, you can add bands, like time under tension. So many different ways that you can really go into a hip thrust to maximize that progressive overload. So I want you to think, I want to save time because we're all busy around here, but I want to build size too and really push those last 2 reps to feel like it's like the last 2 you have should almost be at failure by the time you're wrapping up that set. And this is something I'm just so passionate about in terms of focusing on progressive overload in your compound lifts, because it took me so long to really get all the way into that gym strength training momentum. I thought doing cardio was my body transformation for years before I realized the key was using me building muscle and then helping my clients as well and seeing them transform to really make a difference. My body went from this to this by focusing on my compound lifts and not being afraid to lift heavy. I thought I was going to get bulky. That did not happen. If anything, I got stronger and my body changed for the better. So, number 3 on our list for what we're going to be doing in 2026 to get our lean, snatched physique. I'm talking winter arc body, but also keeping our abs, because who says we can't have both? I want you to focus on little to no cardio. So, prioritizing your walks. I mean, an incline walk is so essential for fat loss. A little bit goes a long way. And the reason why I say I want you to actually stay in LISS, which is your lower intensity steady state. Yes, lower intensity steady state heart rate range, because when we're doing too much cardio, it's actually working against what we're trying to do, which is build muscle and really lose body fat. When we're doing a lot of cardio, our cortisol is high. It makes it harder to lose fat. That's not what we want. We want to lean down, see our abs while keeping our glutes. So, my favorite personal type of cardio right now, I'll dance here and there for 10 or 20 minutes, maybe once a week. And really, I'm just doing it for fun and getting some extra steps in. But in terms of fat loss, focusing on leaning down and then building my glutes, I'm going to be doing an incline on the treadmill or finding a mountain outside here in Arizona to hike, something that's going to keep me in that list state. One of my personal favorites is putting the incline on a 10 or 12, going for anywhere between that 2.8 to 3.0 speed. That is chef's kiss sweet spot. Number 4, something I wish I would have really understood years ago. I want you to do a reverse diet when needed. When we stay in our calorie deficit for too long, things start to plateau, we slow down. Our body adjusts actually really quickly to these adjustments that we're making with food, with movement. When we get our calories too low, we've got to focus on working them back up. I have loved using this strategy for my clients who've been with me for years in order to keep them progressing. So, progressing. So, whether we are leaning down, we are focusing on building muscle. This is something we just cannot skip. You don't want your calories getting too low. You don't want your metabolism getting stuck. We want you to be thriving in our 30s, in our 40s, and beyond. So, girl, don't skip that reverse diet. If you're not really sure how to do it or how to apply it for your specific body goals, that's totally okay. I got you, boo. Go ahead and hit that link in the description to apply for a free metabolism audit. What you and I can do is we'll talk about what that reverse diet looks like for you, if it's time now, if you should hold off, and we'll go over all of that stuff in detail. Keeping a reverse diet, even for me as a strategy, has helped me stay within that 16 to 17% body fat now for years. And it's helped me eat more and more than I was ever eating in my 20s. I used to restrict diet. I used to be afraid of food. And now knowing that I have that reverse diet, so I never lose progress or I never feel stuck, it's been monumental. The science behind it also just blows my mind. And it's definitely something you don't want to skip in 2026. Last but not least, and maybe, well, it's top 5. That's why it's on this list for 2026. If you're not taking your creatine, I want you to start taking it today. I personally have 2 types of creatine on hand 24/7 because I take it every single day. This is so essential for building muscle, creating ATP, which is more energy. But the science behind it, again, you guys, I know I talk about science a lot. I am secretly a nerd. But what we can do with creatine now as being women in our 30s, our 40s, as we age, this is so good for brain function. It's great for joint health. It is something we cannot skip. But whether you want to throw it in your smoothies, that's what I do probably 75% of the time. You can't taste it at all. Or if you're like, hey, I'm not having a smoothie today, or if you're traveling, I even have creatine. Oh, yeah. I also have it in tablet forms. Another one. But the gummies are just a fun way to mix it up. For me personally, I like to keep my daily, like people are always asking me, how much should you take? 5 grams is pretty average for women, especially, but I take between 5 and 7 every single day. And so if you're going to go the gummy route, just make sure you look at the content and see like how much is in each gummy. And then you can split it throughout your day. You might need 3 or 4 of these. I really like my powder. I just put one of those in my smoothie. Sup is good. These are good for even traveling as well. You guys, do not skip. If you're looking for that lean, we want abs, we want B6. This is going to help us just look so lean. It's going to give us strength. We're going to be lifting heavier in the gym. This was a game changing supplement for me personally and my diet. I found it way too late. And so it's just something I recommend for all of us. This bra. If you found this video helpful for your fitness goals in 2026, definitely give me a thumbs up, pretty please. Follow along for more. Hit subscribe because I am currently on my own reverse diet. I'm going to be building this booty with you. And so every week I'll be sharing our winter arc glute series of how we are going to be building and leaning out whilst at least keeping our abs if you're not leaning necessarily. You want to maintain while building. I'm going to be sharing that strategy and like what I'm doing with you as well as my clients along the way. So hit subscribe, DM me on Instagram. I'm your girl. Let's have a girl chat. Winter. P.S. If you want to start training with me right now, click this video because I shared last year some exercises, those compound lifts that I was talking about earlier specifically in this video so we can start building ASAP. Okay, bye.